Hi, Egan VM here. Another Nintendo Switch Sports video, huh? It is the last according to my plans, which might change. Which is great as this game is really negatively affecting me. So, what now? Well, now I had an opportunity to play the game, and I have my own opinions about the game. You may consider it as a review, but for me, it's a so-called final strike to those evil sportsmates. Let's begin. The first gripe here is that it's too online focused. Yes, it is great to be able to play online, but Wii Sports series was made for casual audience with a focus on offline. This isn't the first game in the series to introduce online, as Wii Sports Club had it too. But in there, if you don't get opponents, you aren't playing against CPUs, and getting a match there, especially nowadays, is uncommon. You can get it to be more common with social media. So, why is it bad? Simple, you can unlock new stuff only through playing online, and you can gain ranks only through online. So you need to have Nintendo Switch Online membership? Well, not really, as if you don't have that membership, you'll play in the trial mode, which still gives you points and unlockables. But only if they are a user of the console. You can make guest users in the game, but the main problem of them is that they can't unlock anything, and one Nintendo Switch console can have up to 8 users. I don't have user room for every guest, especially as I want some more users for myself for Miitopia. So how many guests can you have? 30. Up to 30 guests, including Switch users. Nintendo Switch Sports can have total of 38 users, less than 50 in Club and 100 in Wii Sports in Wii. Why yes, there have always been guest means to be used, the data will never be saved with them. In here it will, so it will remember the high score and hand preferences. Oh, and the fun fact is that the user with Nintendo Switch Online and the user without that cannot play together online. You can in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Well, is there any bad things? Well, it's local play. You see, in previous games, the more you won, the more difficult will the CPU opponents get. At one point you'll even face off the champion of the sport. This opponent is the most difficult, but once you beat them, you'll unlock some secret features, like playing with the slipper in table tennis. And in Resort and Club, you can even earn stamps, which are achievements. These were fun to collect and gave you bragging rights. These included the perfect game in bowling, getting a hole-in-one in golf, beating the champion, etc. However, all of these are gone in Nintendo Switch Sports. Instead, you choose a difficulty and there are no stamp achievements, so there's no incentive to play offline. The only incentive for me is to unlock new clothing titles and equipment. I get hairs and hats, etc., which are useless. Speaking of which, oh, we are back at this topic. This game is salt on wounds, as Miis are already disappointingly unutilized. Oh, the fights this has caused. Miis are old, yes, but many other Nintendo characters are older and still receive new games. Miis are dear to me, as you know. I really wouldn't want them gone. But let's get back to the game. Sportsmates were introduced, which is a really bizarre choice. I wouldn't be as angry if they were Mii-based. But nope. The main issue there is the lack of customization. Miis have improved with every console, with Switch bringing the new color choices and classes, but why even do this when they are rarely used? The biggest problem with Sportsmates is that you have to unlock more customization options, from hair to clothing. The main problem is that when you are playing as a guest, you won't have so much options as they'll never ever unlock new things. You can play as me, which is great. After all, you can go wild with me customization, even wilder in Miitopia. But in Switch Sports, it disables some customization options. Face is understandable, masks and earrings are also understandable, but hats are a bizarre exclusion. Miis can wear hats fine in many games like Tomodachi Life, Miitopia, Mario Golf. What's the reasoning here? Miis try to fit in, even with more varied facial expressions than in previous games, but they don't seem to fit in. Mostly as everywhere you look, you'll see sportsmates. No Miis in the background. Why? I remember playing Wii Sports Resort again because I had created new Miis, and it was so fun to see how many of them I can see in the background. Oh, how much I love this charm. In Switch, only 2 games use this charm. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Well, Miitopia does use Miis in the background, but not from consoles Mii Maker. Another thing I've noticed that usually when Switch games offer Mii utilization, there's also a button shortcut to making a new Mii. This is as Mii Maker is part of the settings. Activating it doesn't need you to close the game. Nintendo Switch Sports doesn't have it. This means if you want to use a Mii, you either have to A. Use a Mii profile picture, B. Create the Mii through other games on Miitopia, add them to console, or C. Go to settings, scroll down until you find Mii Maker and enjoy. Yup, it's a common complaint. It does seem like there are dark times in the video game industry as games are rushed out and receive less love, but we can get updates. Yay, right? Well, this usually takes so long that you have already become bored with the game, and once you reactivate the game after that update, the new wears out quickly and you are back at the boring parts. That is what I see wrong with finish it later approach. So then, we have another example here, Nintendo Switch Sports. We will have golf at fall, and data mining suggest we'll get dodgeball and basketball. But let's focus on what we already have. 3 sports that sees you hitting a ball over the net, 2 classic sports which are tennis and bowling, 1 resort classic which has been renamed to Chambara, and 3 brand new ones, 2 of which involve hitting the ball over the net. So these are different, fortunately. Football is an interesting sport, but for me, it would be more fun to have my teammates be from my Mii Maker. But let's get to the point many other people have mentioned. Ready? Go! We have 6 sports, which is more than Wii Sports and Wii Sports Club. It's 5 sports both, but less than Wii Sports Resort with 12 sports. If we add on sub-modes including training, we have 20 in Wii Sports, 23 in Wii Sports Resort, 22 in Wii Sports Club, and 10 in Nintendo Switch Sports. Well, in tennis, courts can change, and it will affect the ball, but you can't choose which court you will play on. Like you get used to one court and then lose because you got unlucky with the court. So right now, you could have more fun with previous entries, playing games like golf. Of course, there are some people who complain about the Poco Square. I do have to say that it looks nice and all, but I do agree that it is less memorable than Wuhu Island was. In Wuhu Island, you could literally fly around and learn about it at info points. I literally felt like I want to go there if I could. With Poco Square, well, we get info about it in loading screens, but all the awesome things that are told are just left in imaginations. Plus, it seems like a shopping mall. You know what I usually do at malls? No, not sports. I go look into game and electronic shops and go dine out. Still, it is not a bad idea to try out new locations, as long as they are done well. It's finally here. Ask the developer interview. The explanation of what on earth they were thinking when attempting to replace me's. So then, is that explanation going to ease my worries and anger about this game? Spoiler alert, no. Well then, we will find something interesting in the first part. Yes, with Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort games, we came up with as many ideas as we could think of, and most of them were achieved and implemented in the titles, so we felt like that we had done all we could. Then why don't you put over Wii Sports Resort and add some new sports there if there's nothing left to do? So then I'll skip the most of the things as it is mostly about the motion controls. So yada 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 yada. Here we are. A sense of continuity. So then all the soul-lacking stuff boils down to this part. We were always conscious that our customers would feel pleased that they had purchased a new, stylish product. We didn't want it to be a mere carryover or remake of past titles. Let me just say it. Are you kidding me? Yes, it is okay to upgrade the visuals, but attempting character replacement is just evil. So then the product looking new and stylish is the reason why Sportsmates exist, exchanging the creative freedom for just looking stylish. I apologize for what I'm going to say, but that is really stupid. I have said it so much, but I say it again. Mii's have received new color customization options, and when using a Mii, you can still change their clothing. So my idea for it would have been incorporating trendy wigs for Mii and add on some more customizability, like Miitopia did. Don't replace Mii's, but rather build on them. Maybe then they would have had some more development time to, I don't know, make the game more complete. Plus it would have avoided fights in Nintendo community that has still left me scarred. Though it is kind of ironic that one of the plans were to use robots. Reminds me of something. Federation Force, was it? Then there were ideas about college students and, am I saying it correctly, ancient Greece. Just having Mii's have arms would have been okay. Mii's sometimes had arms, and on Switch it's a trend. They even have arms in the Mii Maker. So, we arrive at the next part. Playing with others is inherently fun. So then, what about online? From the very beginning, we wanted players to enjoy the online matches as the main feature of the single-player mode. We felt that in Wii Sports series, the fun of you playing alone against computer-controlled opponents would be nowhere near the joy you get playing with others. That's why we wanted to overcome this challenge with the online matches this time. Well, RIP the satisfaction of winning the champion. I still remember that triumphant feeling when I won the match against Lucia in table tennis in Wii Sports Resort. But some players are afraid to play online. I know that feeling. So that's what they had to say to it. First of all, if you look at the design, you can see that we placed the option for online matches at the top of the menu. When you make a party game, you would normally think that the order on the menu would be play with family, play with friends, followed by play online. But in this title, we wanted to get rid of that feeling of getting ready to go online. Therefore, the menu looks like this. They really want players playing online, huh? We think players will have fun just collecting the items. Correct! That is the only replay value of the game! So it is beginning to feel like a chore to unlock new items, especially when I had to be reminded of the existence of those evil disposable sportsmates. Let's end this Fury Fest. One more to go. In this title we have sportsmates in addition to the Mii characters. You mean me characters in addition to sportsmates, as the latter is literally on the box art, in the announcement trailer and menu screens, and is the default character. We hope you will take note of the unique and extensive range of outfits available for them. First of all, Mies can have outfits too. The customizability of sportsmates is way too limiting, especially when you can't unlock things as a guest. As Mies are already too underutilized, this is just an insult to injury. Mies can be used in multiple games, so I really see no reason to use sportsmates. Use a Mii. If you don't know where to find the Mii Maker, go to settings, find Mii settings and enjoy. If you are afraid to make one, have someone else make them for you. I will never use sportsmates as I have created a lot of Miis and I don't want to see my creativity go to waste. So then I think I'll conclude my review /rant/final strike. To be honest, I would never have thought that Nintendo would do this nasty evil trick. Look at it, I have put it into its own unique group called Evils of Nintendo. You know, once Wii games come to Switch with Nintendo Switch Online, I wonder if we can use Miis on the Switch there, or does it have its own Mii Maker? Anyway, thank you for hearing out my rant. After all, I know it very well how powerless I am in this matter. What am I going to do? Sue Nintendo for emotional damage? That would be ridiculous as much as the threat of my creativity going to waste is giving me emotional damage. Let's calm down. Anyway, I'll end this video. This game is really not good for my mental health, as I have noticed that I have become so radical lately, so I'll put it aside and think about other things, like Tomodachi Life for Switch with Miis, or other games I like. Thanks for watching. Bye.